If you're going to keep the head of your character separate from the body, just like this one, you can proceed to do weight painting. Otherwise, if you're going to connect the body and the head all in a single model, you have to wait until the whole rig is created in order to bind the body and the head. In this case, I have her head separate, so I should be able to bind it. She has facial expressions and everything already set, so I'm going to hide the layer that I have for the body, and I'm going to select on the geometry. Select on the joint first and then the geometry second. That will make the joint system be the object that drives the geometry. And I'm going to do first the head. If you want to bind the head, the hair, I probably will do it separately. So I'm going to go just simply under my rigging, and I'm going to just say skin, bind skin. And here you can do it by choosing hierarchy or select the joints. And if you say hierarchy, it's going to try to connect all of them using the binding method, which is the closest distance. You could do that. And classic linear, meaning trying to find, the constant transition of influence from one joint to the other one. Interactive ways, the way you can modify them. The distance from each vertex to different joints will be affected by that. And then the maximum influence is 5. This means how many joints will be influencing every vertex. I wouldn't say 5 when I bring it down to just maybe 3. Maintain maximum influences, remove unused influences, keep it on. Colorized skeleton is good. Drop-off rate is 4.0, which is the amount of how fast the drop-off will affect in terms of the influence. So I'm going to bind skin, and it just takes a few seconds. And if you look at it now, the skeleton takes a color, and if I click on it, you'll see that my object should be now bound to it. Let's see. If I have click on my geometry, you see there's a tweak component there. That means an skin cluster. So definitely there is a joint influence there. So I'm going to try test it out. So I'm going to try using my rotation tool, and I see that the head, yes, is being bound by that controller. I grab the other one. The other one does an okay job with it. There is some deformation, and then if I try using the jaw, definitely is not working. So there we have to go into weight painting. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to just to click on the joints, all the joints, and the head. I'm going to isolate those. That way I'm not looking at things that I don't need. And although I'm looking at the eyes and the mouth, I could probably hide those. I'm going to do that just so that I'm not affected by them. Let's see if that affected my joints. I hit partially of them. Let me see if I can bring back some of them. We just have to go and turn this one on because actually that's not working. So I'm going to say visibility 1, that way I get those. And I'm going to go individually and select these guys, and then I should be able to hide them. Use this to turn off the visibility better. There we go. And I'm going to hide this one too. That way I'm looking at just joints and geometry. Okay, so we need to do weight painting now. So I'm gonna go under skin, paint with skin. So I'm gonna open it up. And if I click on the geometry, click on the weight painting tool, you can see my joints appear there. And just by selecting them, you start seeing the amount of influence that each joint is applying on each object. And I'm going to start, understanding what it is that my joints need to do. So if you see that let's start with the jaw. Let's start with the head joint. And if you see that, we're going to recognize that the head joint needs to have an influence only on that part. I say all that. The head joint will control all of it in terms of movement. Maybe a little bit lower here, maybe like that. The jaw, just pick another color for the jaw. So the jaw, of course, is going to control that area, and the neck is going to control, of course, a different area, and the neck is going to control that area. That transition joint, that one, of course, that's going to be affected by spine. So later on, we're gonna have to end up cleaning up some of this. But so let's try doing some of that. So I'm gonna start actually with the head joint. Not the end, but the head itself. So let me just click on that tool, call the paint with skin, and then we'll start doing that one. So what I need is to confirm, hide the curves, that that head I want to start painting, and I usually do not replace, I just simply add. If you say replace, you're pretty much taking away whatever is there for whatever value on here. I kind of rather add, that way I have some more control over it. With V, I can change that. I'm going to start just clicking on my object. You can also look at it by colors, see if that makes a difference for you. I kind of like looking at it in black and white. So I'm going to start kind of painting. I'm just adding 1% influence, 100% influence to my object. If I go bigger, I pretty much grab the whole head, which is what I want. There we go. Just barely finishing painting on it. You see the transition now that is happening, and I need to start. The nose needs to stay with it on the upper lip, so I'm going to keep all this part. I'm going to start looking at changing at you can play with the value or the opacity. So if you click lower the opacity, that means if you click twice, you're going to get the value of 1, or try, depending on how much opacity. If you lower the value will add just that maximum. Even if you click more, you can go beyond that point. So I'll stay with that for now. And of course, when I cover all that you want to do, let me just hide the joints. Let me try. I'm going to crank it up to 1 just for now to see. To keep those lips, the upper lip has to be 100% moved by the head. there, and then looking at this here, maybe a little bit more there. You see how that looks. So that one, now I can go and test the jaw control one more time to see if that makes a difference. And it's a little bit better. It's not ideal, but it's a little bit better. I can leave it active like that. That way I can try to correct some of the issues that this lip is having. And I can now change the value, say for 0.3, so small value, to try to correct this lip here. You cannot do it because, like, say you click in there and you don't get a good result because the actual vertex in version 1 is somewhere else. So you gotta just go to the low res version of it to paint on the actual vertex where it is located, and that will bring the object to where it needs to go. So I'm right now painting my weights the best I can. So I'm trying to get some of the upper part of the body, of the mouth, inner mouth, painted the best I can there. And this one I'm going to bring it down to 0.1 here, just to, not that one, just to paint softly on this part, because this one needs influence, not as badly, but it needs influence. Same with this one here. So little by little, I'm getting the mouth to roughly start looking the way I want it. This little corner here is giving me a hard time, so I have to find it there, right there is. There we go. So it's a matter of time that I just need to get here to do the right deformation. So little by little I'm getting her to do that. You can always, let's see if I can click on the inside. Just isolate it. See if I can correct it, but although actually I'll show you some other way of doing it inside. So you have roughly the head. With some cleanup that needs to happen in there. I'm gonna just get do the jaw. Now I can just give a bit more presence to the jaw here. And the fact that it's gray means that it's receiving influence from other parts, including the neck, the end jaw, the end joint of the end of the head, and the end of the jaw itself. You click on the end of the jaw. That one is influencing there. And although, yes, it'll work, but I kind of prefer to have the influence from the actual joint that needs it. Just what you don't want is having influence down here from the neck or any other ones, the spine. So I'm going to try to paint these ones as much as possible to get at least just 2 or 3 joints at the maximum affecting it. Let's see. So I'm adding more influence here. It's taking this kind of grayish tone, but let me crank up the value here. I want to use 1%, 100% here in this joint on the chin. And bring down 0.5 maybe, so I'm not extending too fast. So if I bring this guy back to 0, and then I try to rotate the neck, they are roughly doing it. The lower of the neck is moving, but I'm not going to spend too much time on it yet because, again, as I said, that one has to be painted along with the body. Some of this is not quite right. When I get the head to go back up like that, I would like it to stay not moving the lower part of the neck. Let me see if I can look at that. So the neck joint can have a bit more influence right here. That's too much. Say 0.3. That way I'm trying to get that one and see if I can just get the neck to stay a little bit more influence back there. And we'll just make it push just a tiny bit on the back of the skull. There it is. Okay, so I can try to get her head. I'm abusing the rotation of the head because probably she wouldn't go that far. She probably will do something like this, more likely like that, and this one. And probably I'm going to just get her to bend upward. It's going to be like this, using both the neck and the head, not just the head controller. Now the lower neck is being influenced by the head too. You see when I click on the head, this one is gray. Shouldn't be gray. So I'm going to just put this neck influence in here for now. I'm going to crank it up for now here. And again, I'm going to have to correct this later. And now I have a head and a neck joint, not moving the lower part, which is the head. The neck will move it, not move the lower part. Okay. There is another option for being able to do weight painting a bit more precisely. So let me just show you one little example here, and it is that if you have, let me see if I can do that. I have a couple of triangles in there. Alright, so I'm going to just go and increase my selection inside the mouth. I just did that using the shift and the more than sign. I'm going to isolate those. So I got in the mouth and then the inside of the mouth only, and I'm going to just work on it. I'm going to select the vertex. I'm going to select, let me look at it from the side view better. And there it is from the side view. I hit one of this object, and I'm going to try selecting. Let me see if I can bring back this object to 0. Okay, and I'm going to select the vertices that belong to the upper part of the mouth, or the inner mouth. I think I got them all. And I'm going to go under Windows General Editor's Component Editor. And under Component Editor, I can go and select the Smooth Skins. And this shows me all the vertices that I have selected there, and all the joints that are offering influence: head, jaw, and neck. Too many. And I think that for that part of the mouth, I only need the head joint. So I'm going to select all of those values there. I'm going to type 1. That way, that's the only influence I'm receiving. And now I'm going to flip it. I'm going to select the bottom part. So maybe one more time. I select it. I'm trying to get rid of these ones. There we go. And let's see. So we selected those. So those are now selected. And these ones are going to be influenced by the jaw. And I put 1, which is the maximum influence they will receive. So now those objects should be influenced by the in a number way. Let me do it here, and let me just open your mouth for a moment. You see now that the inside of the mouth is influenced. And if I click on it, you'll see that the head joint controls the top, the jaw joint controls the bottom, and that makes it a lot easier for you to have a mathematical thing. The last thing I'm going to say is that you want to, when you work with your weight painting, you're happy about them, and you want to create music, I'm trying to call them, and you think that your weight painting is taken care of, and your character has done, and you have tested it, and it does all of what you need, then you'll be able to decide what is influencing the lower part of the body. I'm not so sure why. It's lower part of the head, the neck. I think it's because it's affecting the neck, because the neck is not being painted fully. But again, when you're totally sure that your weight painting is taken care of, you lock them so they don't lose their work or their value. That way, just by accident, you don't want to be erasing them. Even while you're working, let's say you're happy with the jaw, you will lock the jaw, and then you continue working on the other ones. That way the jaw will lose their influence anymore. Alright, so that's the end of this, and hopefully you'll be able to continue working with the rest of your character.